That took forever. So I'm going to attempt to shoot 100 yards at my house. I have the property for it, but there's obstruction everywhere, so I'm going to make an attempt to get a 100-yard shot and see if I can hit the target back. I'm curious about my group at 100 yards, and I'm shooting these Dan McCarthy PS23s, Bonning shield cut, 1 3/4 vanes, 300 grain field point. This arrow weighs in right around 350. I'm getting decent speed, about 190 range, or I'm sorry, 290, about 290s, low 290s. I don't know exactly. I tinker all the time, so it varies a little bit. But I have gotten as far as 60 yards with this setup, and the group is good. But arrows sometimes tend to do funny things after a certain point. I think they call it like the parachute effect. I'm not sure. I just want to know if these arrows can compete at 100 yards. So I have to find a way to shoot 100 yards. And to shoot 100 yards, I'm going to have to trim, I think, some trees or something. I have a target down here in the bottom. Anybody that knows me knows that I shoot a different bow about every other week. I just like bows, you know what I mean? What I'm trying to do now is I'm trying to make sure that I have a big catch down here. I would say on a good day, I'm a pop can group at 60. However, at 100, and my flyers tend to be real far off the mark. So losing arrows is a real possibility if I'm only aiming at like a deer. So I have this. These foam boards are going to come in real handy. This is going to be my 100-yard catch. Okay. Huh? Huh? That gotta work. That's a bullseye. Now that target bag's a little bit shot up, but if we hit it, the arrow will go through a little bit, but that backstop should catch it. So, let's cut some lanes. This is the path so far through the woods. If you can see the target down right about there. This is from the edge of the yard, and it looks fairly clear, and you can see that one branch sticking out there, right there, that I was concerned about. I don't think that's going to be an issue, and I don't really want to get on a ladder with my chainsaw right now. However, there's another branch over here off this tree right here that's, I feel like, might actually be an issue. It's like a little fingerlink, little twiggy branch that I think might actually be an issue. So I'm going to try to get that down. I think we've got it. As long as that big branch isn't in the way, I think we're all clear. Okay, here we are back at 100 yards. Let's do one more range check just to make sure. We're at 99. I'll say a half. The backstop is ranging at 100. The target in front of it is ranging at 99. I'm going to call that close enough for this experiment. 100 yards on my scale. I don't know if you can see that. We're buried out here. So I have a rheostat on that housing that lets light in. It was down there. It looks like without that on there, I think we have the clearance. We barely have clearance. Clearance. Okay, 100 yards, sighted in. To be clear, I'm not sighted in. I am dialed in from 0 to 60 yards. However, I have not checked at anything beyond 60, so. That took forever. Let's see what we got. That was a great shot, pin on the mark. I couldn't ask for better execution on that first attempt. Oh my God, and I think we've got the white circle. A lot of times group shooting, you find yourself aiming real hard and doing more aiming than shooting. And I don't know, sometimes it's just, you got to kind of unplug from where they're hitting and just execute good shots and just see what the group says. I don't feel like that was my best shot. Oh, I think the backstop caught that one. 100 is hard. Well, I'm 4 out of 5 on the target block. However, it's not a great group. That felt like a good shot. So there's my first 6 arrows at 100 yards. 3 or 4 felt like good shots. The rest did not. This footing is not ideal. I don't know if you can tell, but we're on the side of a hill. But let's go check out and see what we got. No arrows in the branch. That's good. This was my first shot. That got me excited. And then looking down here on the rest of them, I seen these two and I thought, well, this is going to be great. But then this happened. So far, for reference, this is my hand. I've got a couple over here. You know, my group is, I don't know what you call that, a pie plate at minimum. Like, I would say that's even maybe a bit larger than a pie plate, depending on how you measure a pie plate. But there's my hand. I have a decent sized hand, but it's so far that's my group at 100. That's my first attempt, and I have one over here, so we'll say not a pie plate. Oh, look at my backstop, just caught this, look. Yeah. Well, that's what you want at 100, is just something to grab that arrow, because it's either in that and I can pull it out and retrieve it, or it's in there and who knows. So let me pull these out and let's go try another group. So I made some changes to my bow. I took a little bit of the let off out of it, which slightly shortened my draw length, and I think maybe I'll get a better hold at 100. I'm seeing some deficiencies in my shot at 100 yards, so I just want to see if maybe this seems like a good spot to really make minor adjustments in my setup and see the effects of it. Okay, this will be attempt number 2 at 100 yards. I feel like my shot is better with the less let off. I feel like I'm hold better at 100. I'm holding on target and getting a cleaner shot. Although I'm not 100% sold on my draw length, I feel like maybe now my draw length needs adjusted. It's always something. So this is my group at 100 yards, second attempt. As you can see, my elevation is really good. They're all basically right here on the same plane. I mean, just slight up and down, but a little bit of left and right in there. As far as the group is concerned, I'm not completely upset with this being 100 yards. Could I do better? Probably, in better maybe conditions. I don't know if you can tell, but there's a little bit of breeze, which I don't know how much that affects the arrow flight, but I know for my hold it slightly affects a little bit. I felt like this one I let get away. I feel like these are the best representation of the group, because I felt like this one kind of got away from me. So I'm going to pull that one out. This is just for informational for me, because I felt like these were the best 5 out of 6. That's my group. I'd say my mark on my sight is very good, aiming obviously at that middle white dot. And I have a group at 100. I know I just pulled that one out, but I would say the size of my hand span is probably a fair. That's about as good as I am at 100 right there with these arrows. Now I'm going to switch to some skinnies in a couple weeks once I get them built and attempt those at 100 and see what happens. What's up, everyone? Day 1, I shot groups 100 yards with this bow and these arrows, and I got mediocre groups. Day 2, I shot the bow at a higher poundage, which means a faster arrow and more flex on the shaft, and I got better groups, and I'll show you those right now. So today I've bumped the poundage up even further, pushing the limits of what a 400 spine arrow can do, and I want to know if the groups get even better, the same, or worse. So without further ado, let's shoot. Woo! That was my first 6 shots of the day. So this is interesting. Okay, so that group is terrible. Look at that. So 65 pounds I don't think is the way to go here. I have 2 arrows clear down here, 2 arrows over here, 1 down here and 1 up there. Now I will say that that was my first 6 arrows of the day. So we're going to start retracting that poundage and see if we can find that sweet spot. We're going to move the poundage back. 65 is definitely not the way to go. That group opened up a lot. So half turn out, let's go. 64 pounds. This is my group. Now I will say that I feel like this group really improved as far as yardage. You can see they're all about the same level here. Really good. But I am getting some left and right stuff. Now again, this is at 100, so you know, I can't be too picky. That's not bad. That's a pretty good group for 100 yards. But because the group did improve, taking that half turn out of it, I am going to retract another half turn and see what happens. There's a half, and let's just see if my groups improve. I'm thinking I'm really dialing in this sweet spot, but I had a pretty good group that last group. I'm gonna see if it improves. I think we found kind of that sweet spot, that 63 pound-ish range. Okay, so this is wild. This is like the polar opposite. My left and right's got considerably better. They're all in a line up and down, but my up and down is like terrible. So this first arrow down here in the bottom, I made a yardage adjustment, so I'm going to pull that out because I shot and then I made a yardage adjustment. But even then, I'm getting, you know, that much distance up and down, but my left and right's dramatically improved. Now how much of that is me, and I don't know how much of that's the poundage of the bow, you know, just I can't help but to think I need to put a quarter turn back in the limbs, and that's my sweet spot, but we'll see. Okay guys, that is a wrap on the arrow testing for now. For the PS23s, I feel like I figured out everything I needed to about these arrows and their ability to perform at 100 yards. For a bigger diameter arrow, they've done really well. I mean, you've seen the group sizes I've been getting. I made several attempts off camera that resulted in about the same thing. And I just kind of wanted to give you a quick rundown of where I ended on everything. This is the PS23 354 grain arrow, and the Elite Result 36, and I ended up at 62.5 pounds. I just checked it on the spring, and that's a 29-inch draw length. And the groups that you've seen, that's basically as good as it gets. I could get groups at 100, about the size of my hand. That's pretty fair. If you've ever shot 100 yards, it's tough. And I think that these will compete easily out to 80. And I will test some more arrows to check and see if I can't get a little better at 100. But to get groups my hand size at 100 is pretty fair, and I think I'm going to roll with that. So thanks for watching this episode of Wingdinger Outdoors. I appreciate you watching my videos. I hope you had fun. I did, and we'll see you next time.